Hi, this is Greg Johnson with Blue Book Services. I'm here today with Pamela Riemenschneider, our retail editor. And Pamela, I know you've been back in the office for a couple days now after going to the Organic Produce Summit. What would you say was the big overall theme that you picked up and the industry discussed there?
I think for almost everything I attended, all of the educational sessions, the buyer tours, one of the biggest things that people were talking about was that organic over the last couple of years hasn't been growing as quickly as it was maybe 5 years ago. We saw a little softness in the growth of organic, although it is still growing for almost every commodity. How do retailers ensure that those sales keep growing? Even in the food service at retail, a lot of the times, maybe consumers are not aware that some of the deli items do have organic ingredients. That's one of the sessions that I attended. I also attended a session about wholesalers and how do wholesalers maintain their growth in organics when so many retailers are going to self-distribution. That was a big concern for a lot of the folks, and it kind of ties into what the Organic Trade Association is doing with its consumer outreach programs. We've got a lot of people are aware of organic, but maybe they're not aware of the reasons to buy organic. So that was a lot of concern, a lot of talk. And then the other thing, of course.
Well, before you go, are they trying to get more people into the organic market, or are they trying to grow organic purchases from people who are already buying organic?
So I think there's a couple of things. In the food service at retail, especially, I think they're going after that core organic shopper to make sure they're aware that, hey, this salad bar has organic ingredients. Overall, though, the percentage of that, true believer organic consumer is so small that we're actually talking about targeting consumers to trade into organic. And that's a conversation we've been having for years of the side-by-side comparison. Do you segregate? Do you keep it together and let people make their decisions at store level? But I think a lot of the people agreed that the growth is going to come from mainstream consumers trading into organic.
Okay.
And then the other thing, of course, is something that I write about all the time, and I just took some new art for it. It's plastic, and this is actually organic salad in plastic. And I actually do get hate mail from people when I talk about and defend plastic. And I feel like I got to find the right person to take my case to who do we talk to about this? Because there's a very good business case for plastic, but we're also getting no credit for a lot of the plastic reduction efforts that we do in produce. And one of the buyer tour stops that we have for the Organic Produce Summit was at Taylor Farm Retail, their salad making facility. And it's a really fascinating trip through there. It's like millions of clamshells of salad. I don't know if this is a Taylor Farms product, maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, millions of clamshells of salad go through that place. And one of the retailers that was on the buyer tour did ask them and say, hey, my core organic shopper is completely turned off by plastic. And what do we do about this? And Taylor Farms, as you know, acquired Earthbound Farm a couple of months ago. And Earthbound Farm has been on the forefront of trying to create a closed loop system using 100% post-consumer recycled plastic. But we have a problem in that, where is it? I got it right here. This plastic bottle is totally recyclable. The recycle systems pull it out, they pick it out. There's even, if you have a bottle law in your state, maybe you get a deposit back on it. This is totally recyclable. This often gets recycled. This almost never gets recycled. And Jarrett Stoffel from Taylor Farms was trying to explain the system where they would love to be buying the flake made from these clamshells, but a lot of the recycling systems in the municipal level aren't pulling it because they don't recognize it as recyclable, even though we all know this is number one PET.
That doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense to me. We've had strawberry clamshells for 25 years.
Right.
And longer. How is this not recognized as recyclable in our system? And part of it is because they used to just bail it up and sell it to China, and China would take it and recycle it, but now they're not. But we have to figure out how to make sure that these recyclers are actually pulling this stuff. Did you put it in your? I put mine in my single stream recycling here in the Austin suburbs, and I felt like it was getting recycled. And then you find out that it's actually just getting thrown in the trash, and it kind of feels like someone's drop kicking kittens or something like that, because I feel like I've been lied to. So this is a problem, and who do we need to talk to about this? Because there's so much demand for plastic reduction, so much demand for trying to get this out of the trash and out of landfills. And then when you find out that it's not actually happening, it's really frustrating.
Yeah, that is very frustrating.
That's my soapbox for today. So, Greg, you actually did a story today or this week about Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A is piloting doing its self-distribution to its retail locations, to its actual restaurants. And this seems like big news to me in food service, because not too many fast food restaurants actually do their own distributing. What's going on there?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a step in that direction where they're going to start doing that a lot more. The reason why it was news this week is they made their first delivery from their pilot operation, but they have plans to expand it. And I've seen estimates as high as 25% of their just over 2,000 stores nationwide would be served by one of their own distribution centers. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a company to get back to me on some specific details. But, we don't cover fast food as much as we certainly cover produce and retail. But Chick-fil-A is a real heavy user of produce and promoter of produce items, whether it's their salads or fruit, or they use a lot of fresh fruit in their desserts. And they go after vegetarian consumers with their menus all the time. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool too, and it's following a trend that we've been seeing over the last, I don't know, I can't even put a time frame on it, but the most recent retailer to talk about going into self-distribution was Dollar General. They're doing some pilots as well. And then Sprouts Farmers Market was going into self-distribution, and Lucky's is opening a new distribution center in Florida coming up soon too. So going into that self-distribution market really changes the landscape for trucking and transportation for sure.
Yeah, it's it's a control issue, and the more things you have under your control, the easier it is to explain to your customers.
I've got one other thing we're going to talk about coming up for Produce with Pamela, and I just have to show you because it just showed up. Stay tuned. The boys and I are going to try Nature Fresh's wacky new cucumbers. So we'll have that coming up. These look fascinating to me, and I haven't even tried them yet. I just haven't.
They look pretty good.
I know. They kind of look like ghost cucumbers. So we'll see how they taste.
Looking forward to seeing that.
All right, well, that's it for this week's Produce Reporter newsletter week in review. If you are not getting our newsletter, make sure to head over to producebluebook.com and sign up.